Just today, Anthropic released a report that the first massive state-sponsored agent attack occurred.
Oh boy.
And they caught it, but it highlights holes in their system. And the biggest hole that they can talk about today is that in every instance, what they did was they split up the agent's responsibilities so that no one agent knew what the other agent was doing. Yeah, we got up to 125 people or so, and then it broke. And now we're at 60, very purposefully. If I ever was allowed to have a soapbox, I would get up on it and I would say that AI and tech is like the 5th or 6th most important thing in your firm. It is not even close to the front.
Chad Davis, the infamous, infamous? No, neither one. Chad Davis, welcome to the show, man. It's honestly awesome to have you here. A little bit of a long time coming, but we made it happen. What's going on, man? How you been? What's your life looking like nowadays?
I'll tell you, like, there's a lot of crap on LinkedIn DMs, and when I got yours, it was a positive day. So thank you for letting me
it's very kind
have a chat with you and talk all things, whatever you want to talk about: tech, automation, AI, firm running, RV living, Europe, whatever.
Yeah,
we're good.
So many cool things. Hold on a second. You're in Spain right now, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty badass. Where? Barcelona?
Like 4 or 5 hours south on the coast.
Oh, okay. Nice. What's the town? It's not Valencia, isn't that?
Yeah, we're about an hour south of Valencia.
Okay, cool. I love Spain so much, man. I honestly could just turn this podcast into a Spain and Europe conversation, but I won't because I don't know how much accounting fun. But no, dude, I've been to Spain. Sure. I've been to Spain 2 times already, and I would happily go again. And Barcelona is one of my favorites.
We have been in the RV for going on 8 years, and this is the first winter where we were like, you know what, we should do something different.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing now. And
that's cool.
Instead of kind of going down to California, we're like, let's just go east.
That's awesome. I love it. For those who don't know who you are, can you give us like a 60, I almost said 60 minute, that would be bad, a 60-second intro to who Chad Davis is?
Nobody really cares. I have a CPA firm in Canada.
Cool.
It's 60 people.
Wow.
We have gone through lots of transformations. The latest one is getting rid of advisory and CFO work and just focusing on back office work. We have no outsourcing. We tried it, didn't work for us. So we are 100% based with Canadians. My business partner, Josh, and I started it in 2013. Wow. And still going strong now. Did the RV thing, right? Going into 8 years. Now we're in Spain doing this thing where we did 6 months in Canada, 6 months in the US. Have a really, really fun place to spend my time away from LiveCA online in a community called Automation Town, where a bunch of accountants get together and nerd out on AI and automation stuff. And outside of that, I make really horrible LinkedIn videos every day, and all my friends have blocked me, so I know I'm doing something wrong. I just wish they would tell me what. I just wish they would tell me what. That's 60 seconds.
That's pretty good. Lots to unpack there. So, wow, 60-person accounting firm. Repeat that again. You said you got rid of advisory?
Yeah, we got up to 125 people or so, and then it broke, and now we're at 60, very purposefully, and it's such a cool number to have for coverage and for like peace. And
yeah, I like that.
We really like it.
Okay, I gotta go down this path with you. What broke? How did it break?
Value pricing broke when you got to that size. CFO level advisory work broke because a lot of people that garnered all the skills to be able to have that type of discussion left and started their own firms. I think we're somewhere in the 10 to 15 firms were created in Canada from ex-LiveCA people. It's a lot of growth. And I think so many people realize this now, that you really need to be good at what you sell, and growth doesn't fix it. just because you add more money and more people and you split the responsibilities and you try different pricing things, it all has to work. Otherwise, the bigger you are, the harder it actually falls.
Interesting.
So that's why I think it's very healthy for people to look at what they're really good at. And like what we were really, really good at was taking the $2 million and up companies in Canada and the US that are coming to Canada. So we've got like Substack as a client and like all kinds of big, Simple was one of our first clients, which is like the betterment of Canada. So we have just like these $2 million and up companies that have outgrown their traditional cloud-based accounting firm, and they need a team of 4 to 6 people so that they don't have to go hire 2 to 3 people. And like that has been a really cool niche for us to be able to say, we are a full finance team for less than the price of a full-time hire. And like that just works. So all the really intricate stuff we're good at. And that's what we realized we could sell. And then that's what we're doubling down on.
That's amazing. It takes a lot. That's not an easy thing. That's why I really wanted to dwell on that a little bit. It's not an easy thing to do as a firm owner, to get rid of a obviously profitable, but identify the pain points like that, where you then just take out something that like everybody is hyping up. You look on LinkedIn, that same LinkedIn you're talking about, you're making your videos on, which by the way are not horrible. I like them. I watch them. But you're talking about something that everybody is talking about and saying value pricing this, you need to do that, you need to value price, you need to do CFO work, you need to do more advisory. And here comes Chad Xing out those things. Man, that's fascinating. Was that a hard thing to do?
I actually don't think those people are wrong. I think the thing that a lot of people get wrong is they forget to say and ensure you make the decision that's right for you at your stage of your company.
That's huge.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you forget to say that last piece, you bucket everybody, right? And you'll have firms that are making millions of dollars with no niche. You'll have firms making millions of dollars doing incredibly small niches. And who's to say who's right and who's wrong, honestly?
Yeah.
I think you are a good testament of this. You go to a lot of events, you talk to a lot of people, you have this podcast, you host things, you get to see what other people are talking about too. And I bet you would be hard pressed to find 2 people with the same type of approach to their firm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not a single one, not a single person. Conceptually, maybe yes, in the whole like scaling and what scaling means, because they either read it somewhere or they've learned the hard way, or they're saying similar stuff but they're doing things differently. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
Different tools,
different
approaches to AI.
Yes, this is a great segue right into AI and right into a lot of why we're here. So let's talk about it. AI. So look, I'm genuinely curious. As a firm of like 1.5, maybe 2, that's me. Me being the one, and sometimes me also being that extra half. But and then my outsourcing the accounting work out to a firm in Brooklyn, so not overseas, but again, Brooklyn. I just don't want to deal with the bookkeeping aspect. AI is very foreign to me. Because it's new, right? A somewhat new thing, and balancing, you and I were talking offline, balancing the, like, it's here and it's here to stay, and the traditional old school way of how I was doing things, and marrying those two is something that a lot of solo firm owners or firm owners with much less people than you have are struggling with. And do you have a lot of AI in your firm?
That is a loaded question, but the short answer is, how do you even define that? I think perspective is probably the most important thing you can take from any conversation. And when you're talking to, like, we have very different firms.
Yeah.
But I should understand what your perspective is when we talk about this with each other, because you're most likely to buy an off-the-shelf tool. and you are most likely to switch tools if they break.
Yes.
I'm most likely to stick with a tool longer, and build around it, and that's my perspective.
Interesting.
Change is really expensive, and it doesn't matter what size you are. It's expensive. It just, when you're smaller and more nimble, you change more frequently. You figure out who you are. You're going through adolescence, right?
Yeah.
You're changing clothes. You're a skater one day and you're a jock the next day. Like whatever it is, like you're figuring this stuff out. But at a certain point, you're taking a different path. So I think do you have a lot of AI in your firm is more like, do you lean in or lean away from AI? And we lean in hard.
Okay. What it's a really good points. What are some things that you're hearing about leaning away from AI? Like, what are you missing out on by leaning away from AI? What are you gaining from it? As a firm, let's talk about firm my size. Let's imagine I'm talking to a listener right now from their perspective, same as mine, of one person, maybe two people firm, smaller, doing under 500,000 gross revenue, something like that. What are we missing out on?
Not much, honestly. And I think that's the problem with the internet, is that people, in an effort to sell you something, will create massive amounts of FOMO, and they'll make you feel like crap. And that's really bad psychologically, and it pushes you away. And in fact, when you realize, or when you surround yourself with people who are genuinely trying to help you, and you can sniff authenticity and care and love and like closeness, you're like, oh, I actually want to be near that person way more. So I trust them. I want them. And when you think of the solo, or like you said, someone thinking about what they're missing out on, the tools that you use are going to get exponentially better faster than if you were to invest in learning how to build stuff yourself or build around what you have. You are better off to go invest in your client relationships and ensure that they want to be along with you during this rise of a economic evolution than you ever are in spending it trying to optimize a tool.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. And to your point before that you mentioned about like the cost and change being expensive, there's two things there. One, change is expensive. I agree with you in both time and cost. But also, I think change is really, really hard for accountants, just inherently. And I speak for myself too. Every time, I just remember when I it's gonna be a little embarrassing, but when I switched from Google Doc Drive, like the Google Drive, for all my when my clients were uploading their stuff in there. When I switched from that to TaxDome, this was like 2 years ago, so it wasn't even like that long ago. When I switched that was painful in some extent, and I pushed that off. I pushed that off because I was like, oh, but it's working and it's fine and it's okay. So, I really like that. And I think a lot of folks are in the same place. You look at the cost of it, you look at like what it's going to run you, or, where's the benefit? And then you go, and my time, and especially as a solo person, that's tough. So I guess kind of with that regard, like what's your take and kind of advice to somebody? Because you're saying if you're a solo guy, you might be okay. Is there a point in your mind where you think really you should start looking at some aspect of AI on automation?
Yeah, it's when it's the most important. It's when it's the most pressing issue. And if I ever was allowed to have a soapbox, I would get up on it and I would say that AI and tech is like the 5th or 6th most important thing in your firm. It is not even close to the front. And if you meet somebody who is pimping out tech as the only option to get ahead in life, like run away. Run away from that person. The only thing that fixed our firm was choosing which services to get rid of,
Yeah.
choosing a pricing model, an alternative to value pricing that created structure and a great client experience. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
3, how to treat our team. Like, what does a comp strategy look like? What does setting expectations for the future look like? What does a skills matrix look like? Like, graduating HR policies. Those are way more important than technology.
True.
These are what fixed our firm. And the other thing is that we had a framework to decide what was important. And that framework was EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. So when something becomes important, it's raised as an issue, and then it is decided on a quarterly meeting that this is absolutely going to be the focus for the next 3 months. Now, your fix, your issue could identify a whole bunch of smaller issues, but maybe you turn that into a project, and that project has a component for the first 3 months. And then you have a component for the next 3 months, and a component for the next 3 months after that. And that thinking is what got us to a place of removing FOMO from our entire vocabulary, getting everybody on the same page that not everything is a rush. And I love your, EMT ambulance story about people dying on the stuff you talk about. Like,
That's a good memory. That was a while ago.
No one's doing this. We respect you, Yuri. So, like, that is really important, and it sets a stage of calmness around the company. And when tech becomes, imagine the issue for you is document collection.
Yeah.
And you're like, I actually don't know if document collection's the issue, or if it's a customer experience issue, or if my processing is the issue.
Yeah.
So is it a tech tool? Is it that I'm just not great at setting expectations? Like, whatever it is that you feel, you're going to have a conversation that's so deep that it gets to the root issue. And when you have the root issue identified, then you can set the projects. I feel like most accountants skip some version of that intermediary step, and they go right into a 9-month project that they put on their brains as a 30-day project because it's now October 16th.
Yeah.
And you have to get this done by January 1st.
Yeah, that's really, really, and so it's given me some thought, and it just made me think of that day, like that whole process. Let's talk about the document collection process, because I really like that. Everything was working fine, right? It's not like there was a break in the system of when I had Google Drive, but at the time I was like, well, I saw this tool, right? So this is how it all started. Again, for me, it started with, I'm online, I'm on LinkedIn every freaking day. I'm not going to admit how long a day per day, because it is embarrassing. I'm sitting there on LinkedIn and I'm going, all right, so like I see this tool keep coming up, TaxDome, what is this? So then I go and I do a demo and I look at it, I'm like, wow, it looks cool. But it wasn't like my clients were sitting there going, what is this terrible, Google Drive. They like me. We're vibing. We're having a good time. The service is on point. I'm accomplishing everything I need to accomplish. They're not complaining about Google Drive. But I'm going, what else is out there? And what's the pain point of switching over? And TaxDome seemed to be a pretty solid place to go to make that transition. After I did it, the clients who have been with me, at this point, I've been running the firm for about 2 years-ish. After I did it, the reviews, the kind of feedback back was like, dude, this is amazing. Right? Like the even, and I don't even use like 85% of what that thing is designed for. So that's another thing that I think is important to talk about, because people go in there and they get so overwhelmed by these workflows and the this and the that and all the functionalities. Man, I use that shit. I had my organizer in there that I send out every year. My clients love it because they just fill it up, boom, boom, boom. All the documents are in there for the most part. And then, I don't even do the agreements through there because I didn't like the way that they did it. And I have my e-sign, e-file authorizations. Boom, 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 boom. That's what I use it for. These are the 3 or 4 things that I use it for. And I think, and the feedback was amazing. So again, like to your point, a really good point. It's like evaluate what it is that the pain point is, and then manage that. Instead of just being like, what is this? I need to get this tool right now, and this one and that one. So really made me think of that. But one of the other things that I guess has been coming up on the kind of AI automation stuff like that is the security aspect, and kind of like the risks around there. Like, some of the examples, and you have a lot of folks putting in tax returns, putting in all these kinds of things in there, and where is it going, and things of that nature. What's your take on that? Like, what do your kind of thoughts are on that aspect?
Maybe clarifying question. What are my thoughts on people who are hesitant to make technological changes when they're not fully understanding where data is being processed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
I guess it depends on like what setting you're in. Because if you're at a pub with somebody and this comes up, we're going to talk about it for 2 seconds and then move on.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I don't know, or if someone's paying you as a consultant to help them get to a better place in terms of understanding it, that's a way different relationship than them going to Google something and just trying to feel better. And it's different than listening to you and I talk about something when we're not qualified from a security perspective to give any advice
Right.
on any of this. So I think perspective is really important there. And my thoughts are that, like anything in life, when something is so full of friction that it physically alters your brain chemistry so that you have a bad day,
Yeah.
or it hurts, you either try to work that out in therapy and or don't do the thing.
Yeah.
And for me, whenever I meet someone who is so opposite of the way that I think about this, I don't treat it as a competition or something to convince them of.
Yeah.
I seek to understand where they're coming from, because I could be missing something,
Yeah.
which I should be. I am missing something. But I think that their fears are also representative of some possible fears of our customers. Accountants and customers are different, but like it could be representative, because my brain is wired to make our customers feel better and our team members feel better, and like that's the focus for the firm. So it's not to go out and tell other people that they should do something.
Yeah.
So the way I think about it, independent of how anybody else feels about it, is that there's massive risks and there's massive rewards. And you will have to operate within professional standards,
Yeah.
right, in order to do this. So if you operate in a state or a country where you can't have access to certain tools, like in the EU, you can't have access to certain connectors on ChatGPT. Cool. Like you can decide if you'll use a VPN and get around that, or you'll decide if you're going to operate within the confines of the law that exists here. And like anything in life, there's pros and cons to both. So I'm not here to convince, but the way that I feel is that with the right guardrails, there's a lot of positives. And I'm not going to shy away from the possibility of having a great experience for our customers and for our employees at the sake of a doomsday reel playing in my head.
Yeah.
Even though it's possible.
Yeah.
Actually, just today, we'll date this, but just today, Anthropic released a report that the first massive state-sponsored agent attack occurred.
Oh boy.
And they caught it, but it highlights holes in their system. And the biggest hole that they can talk about today, it's only been 24 hours or so, is that in every instance, what they did was they split up the agent's responsibilities so that no one agent knew what the other agent was doing. It's like straight from a spy movie.
This is mind-blowing, yeah.
And then they said, in every example, they were saying, like, you are being helpful. By doing this, you are being helpful. And here's how being helpful is playing into a better result, because we're trying to create things to put up defenses against nefarious attacks, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure they could have saw that coming, but we're all just learning about it now. So maybe by the time this airs, there'll be a lot more of a news cycle around it. But like this is brand new.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, it's a really good point, and I think it's like when you talk about security. I mean, there's so many things that we should be scared of. I mean, and I think genuinely, people are not scared. Like people say AI, and they think, where is this all going? And scared of that security aspect, but like then bypass the security risk of just a random attack, like a random hacker, like without AI literally coming in and stealing your, like how often does that happen? Or like,
I would be more worried about somebody who uses the same password for more than one tool.
Yeah.
I would be worried for anybody that doesn't have multi-factor authentication turned on for everything.
Yeah.
Right? I would be worried about the company that hires the intern at a high school that now has access to the full server,
right,
for the whole community. I would be more worried about hiring a random person overseas who you truly have no idea if their brother-in-law is working for a cartel somewhere. Like you just don't know.
You don't. And that scares the crap out of me, by the way, as an aside, this whole like what, and that's like all the offshoring stuff, like too, not to be, dwell on this doomsday stuff, but like, yeah, like the offshoring too scares me in that exact path. There could be,
or hiring locally incorrectly.
Yeah.
The risk could just be as high.
Yeah. Really, really true points. But we dwell on the security and scare of AI or of these automation tools. And that scares us. And I really do think that people do tend to kind of over analyze that part. As accountants, we are very much like that, hesitant to change, scared of it, and come up with many excuses in our own heads as to why we don't want to do something. I have a question actually that came up. Somebody messaged me about it as I was talking about you and having this podcast with you. They threw in there, so I figured I'll throw it in there. What's the latest and greatest in tax OCR technology? Is the latest and greatest still worth it for local firms? And if not, when will it be worth it?
Let's go back to if you're buying a tool, they are going to innovate faster than anything that you can buy.
True.
Or you can build. So I think what a regular accountant, like the 99.9% of accountants should know, is that models that are great at processing images are getting better every month. And the speed and accuracy of AI models is doubling every 7 months currently.
Wow.
Which is faster than any computing law that we've ever seen in the past. So at that rate, you're like, holy cow, what are we going to actually see? So what we've seen in 2025 is 4 to 6 incredible models at OCR and image interpretations and processing that are way better than anything we had in 2024.
Wow.
And way better than anything we had in 2022. And it's like, okay, so what do most apps use? Well, most apps use a version from AWS for processing receipts.
Yeah.
Some apps use a tool called Verify, which is a well-known tool for OCR processing. Others, which are more AI first or AI native, are integrating open source or open weight models that are from overseas. Some are from China, some are from Korea, some are from wherever.
Interesting.
And they're incredible. There's just one that was released this week called Kimi 2, KIMI2. And it is just as good as Sonnet 4.5 from Anthropic, but it's 80% of the cost. And it means that if people were using the AWS version and could switch to either Sonnet 4.5 or this Kimi 2 or whatever they're using, their quality could double overnight with their accuracy. But how they get it into the tool is the hard part, because they have to rearrange. Sometimes it's an infrastructure thing where the thing that they asked before is not the same as what they're getting out now because the models are so good. They're giving them 10 times more information with 2 times more context and the ability to process it better. So they have to rewrite their whole app. So it's not about which app should you buy right now. It's which app do you believe is nimble enough to move with the times and not become a dinosaur?
Yeah, but I think the tough part is on somebody such as this person asking the question is they don't know anything about these apps beyond, and quite frankly, doing research on something you don't know. I mean, especially like I'm speaking for myself. I would have no idea what I'm even looking at, right? Here's the consideration line that I'm going down. I'm going, okay, again, we'll go back to the initial conversation, right? Is it a pain point? What is the pain point, right? So in this person's case, I'm going to go ahead and assume that their pain point, if they're talking about OCR, is they are done manually typing in a W-2 or a 1099 or whatever it is. They don't want to do it anymore. They want something that's going to capture that information and bring it into the return. Like, Gruntworks, if you recall that one, or SurePrep back in the day, and all those OG OCRs were also OCRs that did a pretty decent job. So I guess the question is, to your point, you're saying, well, you would want to know something that's nimble and something whatever. But for somebody who's just getting started in that process, what should those considerations be on there? And like, how do you determine if you even need it?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Fair.
But what I would say is there's nothing, if this is a very big priority for you, then you've allocated enough time to go investigate.
Yeah.
So do some research on your own because people are weird with recommendations.
True.
I actually, some person's reason for not using a tool could be totally irrelevant for you. And I think that's what I've learned over the years is that opinions really muddy the waters for really great solutions because their perspective is different than your perspective. So trial them out. I know that's weird, but like go trial them out. Do as many as you can. Don't be overly sold to, like get the login, let them go, like just mark off time to go do the testing. Try not to be romanticized by a salesperson and take everything they say with a grain of salt. We have to understand their motives in all this. But, here's a piece of advice.
Yeah.
Ask the salesperson for what's called a change log or release notes.
Oh, okay.
And if you ask them for that and you see that they're constantly pumping out stuff like Double is, the old keeper, there's no app out there that's releasing changes as fast as Double that I know of.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, maybe Notion is or something, but like every week, something big. So if that is important to you and you see that they're making these changes and they're meaningful changes, you can also see the evolution of the product because if you see something that was just released a couple weeks ago, but the salesperson didn't mention it, you're going to see it. So get the change log, get the release notes, and then go test.
Yeah. And really, I think your main point about go test, go play around with some trials and see if it's genuine. Because you know what it is? Everybody wants like the answer. That's what I'm gauging at with these questions, both in my DMs and out there and from talking to people. Everybody wants the tool, the answer, no research, give it to me, and I'm going to implement it and I'll be happy. But like, it's not going to, like you said, it's not going to work for you like it works for me. I might not care about certain things that you are absolutely like drilling in on for caring. So yeah, I mean, it's really a tough question as there is no one tool. And I do think, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I mean, again, to go back to a pain point. So if somebody is listening to this and right now they're sending out invoices to their clients with QuickBooks, just as an example, that I was doing that and I had no pain point with that. And like, it was annoying to chase my clients sometimes. Some clients paid right away. Some clients I had to chase. But like, I was like, it wasn't really bothering me that much. I was like, it's fine. I'm getting my paid. Sometimes I got to chase them. Sometimes I got to go get the bat and be like, I'm gonna beat you up if you don't pay, if you don't pay my invoice. but then they paid. But eventually, as you get more clients, you go, okay, this is getting really annoying. But then I happened to meet Anchor, and I didn't meet Anchor in like a, like test them out capacity, do research, look at all their change or whatever you said, change notes or whatever it was, or whatnot. I'm looking at them going, all right, what are you guys doing? Oh, $5 a transaction? Cool. This is not a plug for Anchor, by the way. But, $5 a transaction, that's less than QuickBooks for a lot of times. And so, all right, let's try it out. And that's it. And once I did that, I don't have to chase anymore. So that's just an example. I just literally came to my mind as an example of something that was a little bit of a pain point, but wasn't too much at one point. Then it got to a point where I was like, okay, this is annoying. So what else is out there? And then once I switched over, it was like the end.
It's going to be really cool to see what the next couple of years do because...
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, I think. The amount of people that can now add features to their tools is going to accelerate.
Yeah.
And what's happened over the last couple of years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is like the bottleneck for progress in accounting has always been coding. It's been people building what people need and then doing it well.
Yeah.
With AI, it's moved the goalposts to what the bottleneck is. And now the bottleneck is not coding. It is judgment.
Yeah.
It's using what's between your brain to build the right things in the right way. And that's where accountants have a ton of value. And if I was an accounting technology person, I don't think I would necessarily lean on the one or two CPAs or bookkeepers that they hire internally as their experts. Mm-hmm. They go out and they listen intently to their advisory councils and what the market's saying and their support networks and the support tickets, because accountants know what's important on average. So that's what I really am excited about, is like not the speed at which the apps are released and improved, but the speed at which the right things are being built are being released.
Yeah, I like that. If I'm a firm owner and I have no tech at all, I am old school as it gets, but I'm considering something. I think I know your answer, but is there anything that you would say would be like a go-to or something easy and quick that they could implement that would save them time?
I don't know what they're struggling with, right? Because
could
you imagine, like, you have no tech, right?
Yeah.
And you're by yourself, and you have a spreadsheet. You got your list of 20 clients, 200 clients, whatever. It doesn't even matter what the number is.
Yeah.
But you're able to get your work done on time, and you communicate well. You make money. You're not late on jobs. If you're not planning to sell or add new people, why do you have to change that?
Good point.
Why do you have to put in a project management system? You don't. It's not a problem. So I think if someone came and said, I'm drowning in organization issues because I hired 2 people, that's a very different framing of an issue, because you have to go towards project management. You're not going to say whatever.
Yeah.
But after project management, most firms under 5 employees have put something in, and then from there, you're like, okay, what's next? And I think you got to go back to those principles of what is the most important issue that I can take a few months to go crack at, and then do it. And I think everybody's going to have a different answer. Some will be invoicing, some will be client follow-up, AR follow-up, some will be delivery issues. And that's where they go and they put in double, right? That's where they go in, because they're like, I need a system to work within QuickBooks and Xero, whatever, to talk to my clients.
Yeah.
So I'm just a big fan of not taking blanket advice from people and actually focusing on what's really important to you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of takeaways here. a ton, I think, from this conversation. And the main thing is, to me, is don't buy into this hype, because you log into LinkedIn or any other social media platform, but mostly LinkedIn, because that's where, a lot of this conversation is happening, and you feel immediately like you're missing something in your life and that you have all these problems that you don't really have necessarily. You're looking online and you're going, oh God, I need this tool, I need that tool. I'm doing this wrong. I don't have that. I felt like that myself many times. But when you really boil down to it, is have an inner look with yourself in a conversation to say, okay, what is, like you said, if you have 20 clients, everything is going well, you're providing excellent service, you're getting paid, you're making, maybe $200,000 a year or something crazy like that, on 20 clients. Great. You don't need anything because everybody is happy. But you might still go online and think you do. So I really like that introspection and having somebody, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Or you go online and those tools are spouting the wrong things. They could have an incredible program, but the way that they talk is so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like save 84 hours. 93% of people love us. Jim Bob rated us 4.9 out of 10 on G2 and crowd blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think the people that are selling to accountants have to wake up and realize that this is a very unique industry for purchasing. It's really hard to get people to buy into a new tool. And I've always been like a huge proponent of apps that have 45-minute demos that they record and they release every couple weeks that you can just watch the newest one. And like, I have a ton of respect for those, because if they can do that and they feel good enough that the general public, or at least after one email or something, can get this link, they're saying, I stand behind my stuff. I want you to look behind the hood before you sign up for the trial and do that kind of work. So if there's any advice to accounting tech tools, it's release the 45-minute demo. We need the 45 minutes, because 10 minutes isn't enough.
Yeah.
And 2 hours, you're not going to keep that edited and up to date.
Yeah.
So like, give us that 45-minute video.
Yeah. And speaking of 45-minute video, this is, we're getting there with this podcast, and we're going to capture up the attention of people. But this has been really helpful and beneficial. It went kind of how I'd expected to, because I think that you are an authentic, genuine. You're talking about people who smell of authenticity. That's you. You're not selling anything necessarily. You're not pushing anybody to anything. You want people to make a decision. If they do, great. If they don't, also great. And I think that we need more voices like that. And that's why, honestly, I was ecstatic to have you on the show, man.
Thank you for doing this. I think it gives a good voice to people who are entering the profession and kind of coming out of high school, coming out of university, their first couple years in business. And I know like a lot of people talk about this, but like having something to consume that is, whether it's true or not, but like it feels genuine. It's important, right? I think that's what I wish I had more of that.
Me too.
And I know a lot of firm owners, and I think people in 10 years are going to say the same thing. They wish they would have more, because it's really hard to find content that is specific to what you need as a person, and whether that's the community, whether that's email lists, LinkedIn slop, or whatever we're calling it. Like, I love doing this because it leads to somebody reaching out on LinkedIn or wherever and saying, hey, that one thing you said made me think about this. Could we chat about it?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, absolutely we can. Because if somebody would have done that to me and we could save 2 years of the trenches, man, I would do that in a heartbeat. So like that's my goal here, is like, if anybody wants to connect on LinkedIn that we haven't, and you're running through some issues, like reach out and like ask. There's lots of people that like want to help other people, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, but holy cow, like even just a conversation about like who you can introduce to, or what podcasts or what things you should do, which events should you go to. Gather as much information as you can from different people, and then make your own decision.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And I was going to say, well, one thing I wanted to ask you, one is just totally random thing that just came to my mind as you were saying that is, what's your favorite conference to go to? I know you go to a lot. Do you have a favorite? Because I feel like, side note, like I feel like people, like this is genuinely a really good thing I've just discovered this year. It's like I went to Bridging the Gap. That's where I met you in person, which was amazing. But like, it's such a huge benefit to me and to others. So if anybody's thinking about it, like, what's your favorite one and why?
Okay, so Bridging the Gap has happened for the last 3 years, and it's going to go again, hopefully. And it's known in the industry, but it's not like known. Like Intuit Connect or ZeroCon or Scaling New Heights or Engage or all the big ones, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the way that Bridging the Gap is presented now, it's like it's trying to bridge the gap between small firms and large firms. What can large firms learn from smaller firms, and what can small firms learn from larger firms? And yes, that's possible, no matter what you think. So Randy Crabtree and everybody at Trimerit who put this on are like masters at relationship building, and that's what we need more of as accountants. Because who do you find who to lean on? It's not necessarily, the person that you're rubbing shoulders with at Engage or wherever. It's just too big. It's hard. It's whatever. Bridging the Gap is a couple hundred people. First year, 100 and something, 200, then 300, then whatever next time is going to be. It's small enough that you can meet anybody you want in the halls. You'll always meet somebody new. Everybody's there for the relationship, not to be sold to or not to be, in sessions all day long. Like, it's very well crafted. And I think for the same reasons that your head went to Bridging the Gap, mine went there too. Yeah. Because I feel like it's not just a hangout. It's a place to like check your assumptions, talk to the people that you care about or need to ask a question about. Like, hey, I'm thinking about putting in whatever, like Juno or Stanford Tax or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, oh, no. Mikey and Rachel, whatever, they put that in last year, and one of them left and one of them loves it. Let's bring them over here and let's have a chat. Yeah. So Bridging the Gap is great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And honestly, it was the only one I went to so far. Minus like a couple like Firm Growth Forum and another small one in Maryland I went to. But that one was just next level with the exact reasons you said. Where can the people reach you, Chad, and who should reach out to you?
Whoever, isn't it great that like it's real people and not just gross, people trying to sell you services from overseas, or on seas. Just like it's funny. It's like you see a person and you're like you realize the message you sent is like really bad, right? Yeah. And then they're like no, I hired this guy to come on and do my LinkedIn stuff. It's not.
Oh
working.
Yeah. Oh God, like, I hate that. Come on.
No, it's not working. It's gross. Yeah. Just let's connect on LinkedIn. My full name is Chad Davis, and it's a picture of a guy with a beard, and I'm in Canada, and that's it. Just like let's connect, talk about anything, and after a while, feel free to like do the not interested block thing if you really hate the videos. But I've been doing it ever since February, so there's like well over 220 videos that are up there that are like 2-3 minutes long each, and it's always picking a topic that's kind of relevant in my life. So LinkedIn would be great.
All right, LinkedIn it is. Chad, thank you for coming on to the show, sharing your wisdom with us all, being real. Honestly, just for being real. Fine. I see you shaking your head. You know what? You got no wisdom. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
That's what you wanted. That's what you
We're all ridiculously dumb.
That is true, actually. And pretending to be. At least some of us don't pretend to not be, which is me and you. We're just people.
Thank you also for building the show. I think it does serve a really good purpose, and I'm looking forward to listening into some more episodes. And that's kind of how I learned about some of your things with your move from Belarus and your EMTs and
look at you go, man.
Your bus ride stuff.
Yeah. all of that. It's all real,
All
man.
that stuff.
And
It's
it'll
all
never
real.
and it'll never be not real because that's just I can't man, this podcast isn't sponsored by any, it's sponsored by me. All right. I don't intend to have any sponsors. I have no interest. I just don't want to appear bought. And I feel like on LinkedIn, the moment anybody catches that vibe of being bought, the authenticity just goes out the door. So I won't do it.
Yep. You need to be very, very careful.
Yep.
All right. Well,
All right, my man.
here's to not being bought, and
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, man. You too. Enjoy Spain. On my behalf, please. I will share some
Pay for
recommendations
all.
for you.
Thank you. Thanks,
All
Yuri.
right.
See you later.
You got it, man.